Good evening, everybody. We are here for Battle Night at the SlyDog Racing League YouTube channel with MRS this evening, battling over Spain, of all places. Who really cares about Spain? Joined by Aaron, as always. Aaron, how we doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Tom, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate, not bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun night ahead of us. I say fun. Fun night ahead of us. We've got 10v10 battle going on this evening between the mighty Pink Warriors of SlyDog Racing League.
Pink Weapons, I think, was the shout last time out.
we got to get that on t-shirts, man. So Pink Weapons going to be sorting us out on SlyDog Racing League, and then we've got the blue guys in MRS, secondary really. So yeah, looking forward to a good fun night of hard racing between the two teams, and it's important to stress that this is an individuals racing tonight. This is teams vying for league pride. Okay, there's a lot at stake here.
Two big teams, not just your regular two-man teams. This is big orgy teams.
This ain't no Burnley versus Crystal Palace. This is Tottenham Liverpool.
Yeah, which I must say probably would be won by Merseyside every time.
And before I get stick for saying Tottenham Liverpool, yeah, Tottenham are a big team. Try to say otherwise.
I mean, what other team in the league have beers that fill up from the bottom of the cup, eh?
Exactly. At a bar the length of the goal line. Come on, man. We got all the shit going on there. Right, I think we're going to be having a little chat with a couple of participants from tonight's fun. We've got, obviously, our fearless admin, Trem, who's going to be having a little chat with us a bit in this session, I believe. And then we've got Lawson, who we normally are saying good things about. But
tonight,
this week...
No.
He's on the MRS side of things, so... Sorry, bud. But yeah, obviously these guys have got a long qualifying session ahead of them first, so we're doing a full qualifying tonight. That's 3 sessions, Q1, Q2, Q3, aptly named. Each of them decreasing in time, so we've got an 18-minute session, 15 minutes and 12, and obviously knockouts in all of those sessions as well. So something a bit different for us to commentate on. And then we've got the joy of a 50% race, so just that little bit longer, obviously a lot more strategy when it comes to racing around here at 50%. So we're seeing the first couple of drivers start to head out on their outlaps here. Obviously, we're very sort of unaware of the level of some of the MRS drivers, the SlyDog Racing League guys we've gotten used to, and we know the guys who we expect to see at the top of the time in charts, and it'd be interesting to see how these guys compare to another league, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, we've got there's a few of the SlyDog drivers that also race for MRS as well. Obviously, I mentioned D. Lawson. We've got Lannon Cam, also a SlyDog driver, and Rockstar, a newcomer to the SlyDog League, who we've seen, in the past couple of races, some really, really good things from. However, we've got the likes of Don Walsh, who's, I'm told, the current MRS champion. Unfortunately, Simo, who was going to be one of the MRS drivers tonight, can't make it, so he's been replaced by Pricey. Simo was leading their championship by all accounts until the very last race of the season. So there's some tight driving going on their half. Obviously, we saw our season completely dominated by Granty Boy. And, from a biased point of view in commentary here, Tom, we'll be saying we want to see that again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100% we want to see total dominance from Granty Boy tonight. I've expected nothing less, in fact, no pressure. But okay, we're going to see the first time set this evening by NUFC fan Liam. So Liam, a guy who performed very well in the SlyDog Racing League. I believe he secured third, was it, Aaron?
Yes, he did. I believe.
So,
yes,
yeah.
He got third in the championship, third place. So obviously Albert DeWitt, another driver tonight from SlyDog, securing second in his Pink Weapon. Oh no, he didn't secure second, sorry. He secured fourth. Chatty Duck was the man who got second in the league. I do apologise.
God damn it, Aaron. Anyways,
Already.
already a mistake. So yeah, we'll be looking to NUFC fan Liam to sort of set a bar this evening. Obviously, we know he's not the reigning champion of the SlyDog Racing League, but he is one of the front runners. So we can expect hopefully a decent time from him here in this qualifying session as he makes his way round into Sector 3. So looking like he's keeping it all together at the moment. Doesn't look to be any major incidents for the ex-Red Bull driver. I can't remember what team he's driving for now, can you?
I can certainly find out in a sec. He is driving for McLaren, I believe. Is it McLaren?
Yeah, maybe.
Starts next week, 8:30.
So he's going to come across the line here with a 1:16.7. So not a bad start at all there. We're going to have a look at another couple of SlyDog Racing League drivers as they make their way across the line. We've got Trem, who again was very much one of the sort of midfield drivers from this year's championship, setting a 1:17.4. So you can see there's a fair gap there between himself and Inyossi van Liam's time, but still plenty of time to put another good couple of laps in here and get himself further up the leaderboard. So yet to see a MRS driver set a hot lap time at the moment. So again, we're waiting to sort of get an idea as to when these guys can get going. So we've got Albert, who then takes the fastest lap here. So Albert, again, another very strong driver. Granty Boy's teammate in the Racing Point this season, setting a 1:16.4. So fantastic work there from the guy in the pink weapon. James Punt getting in on the action as well, setting a 1:17. So yeah, plenty of early times here from the SlyDog boys, and I'm pretty sure they've all been talking about what the best strategy is in these qualifying sessions, because it's not something that we're used to, really, is it? Having to go for 3 sessions.
Yeah, no, it's not something they're very used to. Obviously, there's a lot more that comes down to it when you're running 3 sessions like this. It's you're gonna have to sort of think about your tyre choices in preparation for Q3. I think obviously everyone starts afresh, doesn't it? So that's where it's gonna become very interesting for these guys. But they know what they're doing. So I'm excited to see how they're taking on. But at the minute, we've got ZM, the one that we said before the stream. Tom, looks like if Mazda was a swear word, running on his out lap at the moment. He's just about to start a flyer by the look of it, so he could well be the second MRS driver we see start his flying lap. D Lawson's already put in a 1:17.4.
Yeah.
7th.
And I'm just watching Leonard Cam as well as he comes across the line. So again, another SlyDog Racing League driver that has defected for this session. We'll see where he ends up coming across the line here. So that is a 1:17.6. So footing up the table there, unfortunately for Leonard Cam. And although he is in the blue colours of the MRS team, good luck to you this evening, sir. Because we don't want to pee anyone off, especially when we're all part of the same team deep down. We know you, undercover agent, all that stuff. Right, I think we've got Lawson here with us. Hello.
You are. Hey, mate.
How you doing? You alright?
Yeah, not bad yourselves.
Yeah. Pretty good over here. Pretty good. We're in Q1. Put the first lap in. How's it feeling out there?
Yeah, it feels quite good actually. A few cars got in the way on that lap, so yeah, it was a bit busy out there. But, we'll see how it goes.
Should point out actually, Tom, whilst we get this chat underway, can we just check the stream? Obviously, we've had a couple of technical issues in mics the past couple of weeks, so it might be worthwhile just having a quick check for us over there, Tom.
No worries, I'll have a little chat.
Coming through. But yeah, anyway, so we're joined now obviously by yourself, Lawson, and Trem. Both admins for each league. Let that fighting talk commence.
We can't really, because we're both in the same league on a Monday.
That's it. So yeah, I'll race in both.
You're not teammates on a Monday either. In fact, Trem, if I remember rightly, Lawson's in your car.
Yeah, I know.
So what's the plan for tonight then from your guys then, Lawson? Have you guys been chatting about plans, the way you think this is going to go?
Yeah, we've been having a quick chat. We've actually lost our quickest driver, so I'm a bit gutted about that, but we've still got some quickness there. We don't know whether we can compete at the top, but we're going to give it a good go.
Yeah, and what about you, Trem?
We made a few decisions. I was going to drop out, and Butler was going to take my seat. We were going to put Chatty Duck in, but he can't do qualifying, so Mogi's come in for him. So yeah, 2 of our fastest guys aren't racing. So
yeah, I think to be fair, it looks obviously we know a few of the MRS guys there in Lanod Cam, yourself, Lawson, Rockstar. And we know the SlyDog guys, and it looks like it's going to be a really, really even pace setting here. Looking at the lap times that are coming in, on qualifying at the minute. It's all looking very even, so I think it's going to be an exciting evening of racing.
Yeah,
it should be good.
Yeah, I mean, I've said a few times that I think looking at both teams, obviously being in both leagues, I think the pace looks quite even between the leagues. We've got a couple that probably can compete with the SRL, so
yeah, I mean,
it's a fun night.
It's looking good, and I remember obviously we chatted over the weekend, Lawson, and Dom had from your guys' team. He dominated not dominated your championship, but sort of snuck in there last minute and took it away from Simo, who unfortunately can't race tonight. So I can imagine he's going to be quite a quick contender. Matching up to the levels of Grant and whatnot.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, yeah, he's. Thing is, Simo's a bit inconsistent for the start of the season, coming to it the second half of the season. So, I mean, Dom did take it off in the last race. Simo had an accident halfway around the track. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Drama.
Very much drama.
But so yeah, you guys obviously we'll catch up with you probably a bit later on. Anyway, for now we're going to let you get back to your qualifying, unless there's any little digs you want to have at each other, because I'd love to hear at least one. Just to get this off to a bit of a spicy start.
I can't say Trem's the boss on a Monday night, do you know what I mean? I can't get thrown out of the league. So.
Yeah, I'd just say to Lawson if he's got a chance under the safety car to pit.
Right, guys, we'll catch up with you guys very soon.
Cheers, guys.
And good luck for tonight, and we look forward to what's going to be a cracking evening.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, see you guys.
Good luck, guys. Right, so we'll try and get you up to date with what's going on the track. So we've just had literally no SlyDog Racing League drivers on the track at all for the last 5 minutes, and then we've had someone venture out. So we'll keep an eye on that time as it comes across. But in the meantime, obviously that means we have been able to see some of the MRS drivers start to set their times. So there's still 4 drivers that haven't set a time yet. I think we've got Pricey, who is on a hot lap at the moment, and that's invalidated actually, so not a great start there for the MRS stand-in. But looking at the moment, SlyDog are dominating the podium positions so far in this qualifying session. I mean, there's still a long way to go. We've still got another 2 qualifying sessions plus a 50% race. So this is just the very early stages. And, I don't think everyone will be giving it their all at the moment. We've got people who are maybe just pacing themselves, feeling their way into the evening. The tension is high.
You're gonna want to make the most out of your tyres, aren't you?
Yeah, you don't want to overdo it.
Yeah, I think so. Another thing we need to obviously touch on before the race is obviously the way that this battle's going to work. Obviously, so we're doing the 3 qualifying sessions followed by the 50% race. The league battle will be decided tonight with that race. So obviously there is a set amount of points up for grabs, of which I'm yet to calculate. Therefore, the team that scores the most points through finishing positions will be crowned victorious. Sound about right, Tom?
Yeah, I need to get that quick maths working, man. But no, we'll add all that up in a break somewhere and then work out who needs what amount to win. But obviously, it's just you score more points, you win. It's not difficult. You made it sound a lot more difficult than it was, Aaron. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
So yeah, I mean, a bit of a dry moment in the session at the moment. I mean, people are just sort of meandering their way around. I feel like there's a bit faster to go. I mean, let's start looking at drivers. It's too early actually to look at the drivers at risk, because we know we've got Granty Boy down there and Joseph Morados, who we know are 2 quick drivers. Granty Boy looks like he's about to go out on his first flyer of the session. So once he puts his laps in, and once we see Pricey and Jana van der Briel as well. If I got that right, that's brilliant.
Well pronounced, sir.
I don't know if I should say this live on here, but I did the same thing with a customer at work today, and then I dropped myself in it by saying, I can't believe I got that right. But I did it, so why not get that out there?
Well, achievements, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to celebrate these things, especially in lockdown.
I've done the quick maths, Tom, and there is 101 points up for grabs between first position and 10th. So the winning league will need 51 points.
51 points. So first to 51
points.
Get your calculators out at home. That's part of the fun here. We love quick maths, and
Having a
Make
quick
it a
look on
lesson.
the screen there, Tom, we seem to have an issue there with James Punt. He seems to be off circuit.
I saw
He had an
James Punt
accident.
retired. I mean, maybe that would be a shame because at the moment he's sitting in 15th with that current time, and if he's out the session, he's not going to make it through because no doubt that Granty Boy or someone is going to go above. Granty Boy, in fact, does take pole, so cracking first lap there from the SlyDog champion. He's only a good sort of second and 8/10 quicker than everyone else. That's not too bad, is it?
Ah, he's doing well. He's shot
He's
out
all
really
right.
well there.
He's warming
We'll
up.
take that.
Don't know why I've gone all geezer, but he's warming up.
He's just warming up. He's just getting this party started. It looks to me like Punt came off just in that second DRS zone of sector 2 there. So it's a bit of a blow for him.
Yeah, massive blow,
Really want to
massive
be going
blow.
out in Q1, but could be one to watch from that end of the grid. So that's going to be interesting.
Right, so as we start to wind down the clock on this here qualifying session, we're now going to have a little look towards the back of the pack because we've got Pricey, who's trying to set a hot lap here in the MRS tainted blue, although he just invalidated that lap, so he's going to have to try and go again if he wants to get out of Q1. Is he going to have... I don't think he's going to have time to get in and get a new set of tyres on and get out and get a hot lap set, so he may have to just go again on this set of tyres. We'll keep an eye on what Pricey decides to do, because that can have a lot of ramifications for the guys above him. Obviously, positions 20 to 16 won't be making it through here, so currently we'd be losing 3 MRS drivers to 2 SlyDog drivers as well. You can see Granty Boy's retired from the session. I think that's just more of he doesn't need to put another lap in, so he's just going to observe now.
He can sit there and save those tyres. I like what he's done there. 1 lap, blitz it, back in.
Precisely. He's probably going to be offering some advice to guys towards the bottom of the order to see if they can get out of Q1. So, guys, we do need to keep an eye on as they start to head out the pit. So, obviously, we're going to be looking at Trem and Osborne. Mazda as well. I'm going to call him Mazda. It doesn't even look... It's not even close to Mazda, is it? But we're going to call him Mazda tonight.
Just got to take a quick glance at it, really.
Yeah. If you're listening or if you're watching Mazda, comment. How do we say your name, man? How does someone pronounce that? Help us out here.
I'd be really intrigued to know that, actually.
I really want to know. I really want to know. Anyways, we're watching on board with Pricey again. So this time he's come through the same area that he invalidated his lap on last time with no issue. So we'll see what time he finally gets on the board here and whether or not he can get himself out of the dreaded elimination zone. God, that sounds so American, doesn't it? Elimination zone. So he's going to come across the line here. It's not looking a particularly quick lap. It's going to be a 1:18.5, so he stays rooted to the bottom of the table at the moment. He's got his MRS teammate Jan Vanderbriel, which, if again I've got that right, is amazing. He's also looking to try and set his first lap time here with 1 minute and 40 seconds left in this session. So he's either going to be doing big things or it's going to fall flat.
He's just had to retire for some reason or other. I saw D. Lawson just get a bit sideways on the grass ahead of him. But it looks like he's had to retire from the session.
That was Pricey that's retired?
Pricey is retired, yep, he's now sitting in the gravel.
So Pricey's retired, doesn't look like he's going to be getting out of Q1 here. We've got Osborne, Mazda and Trem all on outlaps at the moment, and the guys above them also on outlaps, so that's the 5 MRS drivers you see sitting in positions 10th to 14th. Now, Jana Vanderbriel puts himself straight away up into 13th place, so out of that relegation zone, but that does move Lawson into 16th place. So although James Punt has retired from this session, at the moment he's still heading through on that 1:17.0. I don't know if that then allows him to participate in the next session because he retired or maybe crashed, but yeah, I think that's just because we're a little bit inexperienced with this way of qualifying. We'll find that out in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, I believe he is able to carry on. Obviously, it's just a retirement. It's no different to what I've seen Grant do now, obviously what with Rockstar as well. But we've also seen now a couple of changes at the top of the table there. Steph Wills and Thomas W have both put in 1:16s, moving themselves into 2nd and 3rd respectively. So breaking up that SLR.
SRL.
There's another one. Dom. SRL, that's the acronym I was looking for. But Don Walsh sets himself quite close onto the heels of Grant, but still not close enough this session.
So just looking at the guys towards the back then coming across the line, we've got Trem, who unfortunately his lap was invalidated there. Osborne coming across the line as we speak. Is he going to get himself out the session? It doesn't look like he has. No, he's only improved by a couple of hundredths of a second there. And I think that we are going to be seeing the bottom 5 as they are now, finishing this session in those places. I say that, Lawson has managed to get another flyer underway, so we'll keep on board with him as he makes his way around Sector 3 here. He's the only guy that's got a chance of getting out of the current session. He's got to find 2/10 from somewhere to do so. He looked to be a little bit up on his lap at the moment. Let's see, as he comes across the line, does he have enough to knock James Punt out here?
No, I don't
No,
think
he doesn't. He goes 500 or 600 slower almost. So a shame there for the SlyDog Racing League transferee. No, we won't call him transferee. We'll call him the dual driver of the session. Deserter, yeah. Never mind. So there we have it. The first qualifying session is complete in that regard. Obviously, you've got Leonard Cam, who looks to be still setting a lap, and the last guy to take checkered flag. But you can see there you've got the 5 drivers from 20 to 16th who are now eliminated. So that's going to be Lawson, Trem, Osborne, Mazda, and Pricey, who was the stand-in for tonight. So well done for coming in and joining in. Maybe not had as much preparation on the track as he may have liked. But real nail-biter there at the end there for James Punt if he's watching this and maybe ruin his mistake, but he looks like he's gotten away with it.
Yeah, he's dodged a bit of a bullet there, 100%. Although then again, 1:17.049, I think obviously it's all going to go down to the point at which you retire, because he's set, if we look at the screen there, he has set a faster lap than Jana van der Riel. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens in session 2, which will be coming up very, very shortly.
So the Mondi69 has commented, whose name are we having trouble pronouncing? And I'm going to go on the screen right now and highlight the name, because I can't say the name that I'm having trouble pronouncing. It's ZMXNCZA. What do you say that as? If you know, buddy, let us know. Like, spell it out phonetically on the comments, so we can try and have a go at saying it. And I say that, we've made a bit of a horrible calculation here. James Punt is eliminated anyways. It looks like it's taken out 6 drivers. I thought we only did 5, but never mind. Such is our inexperience when it comes to this qualifying format.
There we go, yeah. So Jana van der Briel does finish off qualifying 1. So roll on to the next session, shall we?
Straight into the next session as well, Jesus.
Straight into...
Oh, here we go, Trent's helping us out. There's a Mankster, I think. That's difficult.
That's a bit of a tough one. But we should stick with that, maybe?
I mean, the Mankster even sounds a bit like Mazda.
It does, doesn't it?
We'll stick with Mazda.
Call him MX-5. Right, so 15-minute session this time round.
15 minutes of fun. There we go. He's commented, me. You just call him me.
We'll just call him me.
We'll just call him me from now on. Thanks for clearing that up, me. Fantastic work. Thanks for that, buddy. Right. Oh, okay. So, 15-minute session. Where am I going with this? 15-minute session. So just looking, we've lost an equal amount of drivers, 3 and 3, haven't we? So we're back on level terms here.
Level
7 drivers each.
You know, the more level this thing stays, the better. It's going to be some great racing. I like the fact that Grant has just commented on the stream and saying, "Come on, SlyDog." But it's all down to you there, Grant. You crack on. You go banging a good lap, yeah.
Come on, man, sort it out. Keep going.
Another 1:16, that'll do. Was it 1:14 he set there? I can't remember.
1:14 he set there, which is
1:14.
A bit redonkulous.
That's quick.
Now I don't know if, because obviously in real F1 the tyres that you use in Q2, and if you get through, that's the tyres you start the race on. I don't know if that's the same rules in this session, but obviously that might have a factor if it is, because I've just seen
unclear as to what Parc Fermé rules we're using here.
Yeah, if it's full Parc Fermé, then I'm assuming that's the case, because Jana van der Briel has gone straight out on mediums, so I'm assuming that's because he wants to start on mediums.
I'm going to vote we're going for full Park Fairmain. I think that is the rule we're rolling with. So that will also mean that there'll be no adjustments from these sessions. So these qualifying sessions, however you have your car set up, is however you're going to start the race, all bar, I believe, tyre pressures, brake bias and front wing angle. So rear wing, that's unchangeable. So if people have got their rear wings set relatively low, which around here you'd kind of almost expect with the amount of straight line speed you're going to want, if we have a wet race, it's going to make things real interesting.
Fun times. Got to say, put this out there as well. What are you thinking about the MRS livery?
Let me have a closer look at this.
Have a little gander at that. What are you saying? We've got light blue and then what can only be described as copper, maybe?
Yeah, I would say copper. I would go, yeah, a coppery colour. I like it. I do like it.
It's growing on me. The more I look at it, the more it's becoming something I wouldn't mind having on my own car. Yeah, it's alright. It's a bit of an odd combination though, right? It's not just me.
Yeah, I mean,
light blue and copper.
The way they've gone about it in the sense that they've, gone for different livery styles but identical colours.
Are they all on different livery styles, are they?
Yeah, if you look at the livery styles of the cars, they've all gone for a different selection of patterns, but with the two same colours.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting way of going about it, but it's,
keeps it fresh.
It's a nice touch.
Keeps it fresh.
The Borgies just commented, saying it's a nice livery on our MRS cars, so, we can be within agreement of that. We can agree with that.
Yeah, we'll give them that one.
And we see Jana Van der Briel set the fastest lap of the session on the mediums of 1:17.327 for him. So, cracking start. I'd say, if that was my first time going out on the mediums in this session, I'd be happy with that as a first, putting that first lap out there, 1:17.3. Not a bad effort for the first shout.
Yep, and we see Leonard can come across the line as well. Also on the mediums there. Yes, he is on the mediums there, setting a 1:17.6. So that initial time by Jana Van der Briel, and again, you let us know, buddy, if we're getting your name wrong, because I don't want to be getting that wrong. Let us know if that's right or not. Thomas W, nice and straightforward, 1:16.8, so straight away smashing it by a good 5/10 there, so half a second quicker than his MRS teammates so far.
Yeah, we see MRS guys really peppering the track early, just getting out there nice and early, but we've got a few
it's almost
cars
the exact opposite to the first session, isn't it? The MRS guys getting out early here. The SlyDog Racing League guys were dominating the early phases of the first session, but now we're starting to see a couple of pink cars out on the track here, with Butters looking like to be the first SlyDog racer to try and get a lap going around here. So we'll keep on board with him as we try to get a barometer of how these guys will work on the mediums. Of course, completely different feel to the car when you're on these different tyres, and it's just a case of maybe feeling your way around these first couple of laps, because you've got 9 minutes left of the session. You've plenty of time to make it up if you make a mistake. The one thing you just don't want to do is total it and put yourself out.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? And I mean, it's going to be a completely different setting for the race. 20 of these guys going at it. They don't actually, a lot of them aren't going to realise. I'm going to know how each other race. They don't race for each other week in, week out. Obviously, at least half the field does, but for some of them it's going to be interesting. For example, some of these guys that are teammates, you look at Grant and Albert have raced together all season. They know exactly what their plans are. They know exactly what each other are going to do going into a specific turn on a circuit. Whereas when you're racing against people that you have not really raced against before, it's going to make that very interesting. So obviously, like we said last time we were here in Spain, DRS zone down into turn 1, we're going to see some moves happen there, but it's going to be interesting to see from a defensive side of it, exactly how these guys get on. They're not going to be able to predict necessarily what the other team is going to do, so that's going to make for some interesting commentary, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see Mogi and Butters, the first SlyDog Racing League drivers, across the line here. Mogi setting a 1:16.6 to go fastest at the moment in this session, and Butters setting a 1:17.3. He's then joined by Albert setting a 1:16.9 here, so a very good showing so far. Splitting the field We've got obviously 1, 3, 5th. Sorry, 1, 3. First, third, and fifth currently occupied out of the 6 drivers that have set a time so far. So nice and even so far. We'll keep an eye on Granty Boy because he looks to be the next driver coming across the line to set a time on these mediums. Let's see how much he's going to smash it by this time. 1:15 dead almost, so perfect lap there. 1.6 seconds quicker than anyone else at the moment. It'd be interesting to see if anyone from the MRS team can get anywhere near that pace, because this is the guy that we know is leading from the front here for the SlyDog Racing League guys. And will there be anyone that can give him a fight?
Boy's got pace. He could be taking home the cherished victory song. That's our prize for the evening. Is the victory song that we played towards the end, just for the race victor. Especially chosen for whoever that may be. It could be a completely custom job for whoever wins the race. So
that's right. We have actually prepared 10 different songs based off of every SlyDog Racing League driver that might win. And if none of them win, then we've got just a general MRS song as well.
Yes, we have. Yeah. We'll
I'm sure that, much like some sort of radio phone-in, that's what's going to keep you glued tonight, isn't it? That's what's going to keep you watching to make sure you see what happens at the end. What is that magical tune? What is it going to be? Please comment as to what you think the tune could be. We've had some great suggestions on the SlyDog Racing League Discord today. But so far, I mean, there's plenty of tunes that haven't been mentioned that it could be. So let's get crazy with it. Let's see what you guys can come up with. NUFC fan Liam, current SlyDog Racing League driver, out there trying to set another hot lap, but he's just invalidated his lap time. So whether or not he's going to come in for a fresh set of mediums or he's going to maybe try and go again, we'll just wait and see. COVID cough.
Granty Boy, once again, he thinks he's done enough there with that 1:15.
Yeah, I think he's probably quite safe there.
He's safe in that top. Obviously, we've got the top 10 from this session going through. So as it stands, we would be potentially losing Don Walsh, Rockstar, Steph, whereas Munster, and I don't think we'd lose Joseph Raddles from that either, because he's within the top 10. But obviously, those guys are yet to set.
I don't even want to say that anymore, because I thought we were only losing 5 drivers last time, and then 6 disappeared. So, but then again, half the field still hasn't set a lap, so it's still early days here. We're keeping on board with Rockstar at the moment. He's going to be the next driver across the line to set a lap here. Obviously, Rockstar, another driver that we know from SlyDog Racing League, very quick there, goes ahead of Mogi and puts himself into second. So certainly cementing himself as the next fastest driver so far to the SlyDog Racing League champion Granty Boy. So fantastic lap there from Rockstar, and we've seen that potential in SlyDog races from Rockstar, and he's maybe had a bit of a tough time when it comes to the actual race, but he's definitely able to put some quick laps in and put in some good performances in qualifying from what we've seen. Let's hope. Yeah, well, in this case, let's hope that doesn't transpire into the race for today. But maybe in next week or something like that,
He's looked very, very quick in what we've seen of him so far. Exciting to see him in the next season. Obviously, season 3 starting next week. He'll be driving the Haas drivers alongside Osborne, who's also racing tonight. So it'll be exciting to see how these guys do next season. To anyone watching who doesn't currently like or subscribe to the SlyDog Racing channel, please feel free to. In fact, we'd very much like you to subscribe if you don't already to the channel. Hit that notification button. We're live every Monday, usually from around about 20 past 8. Obviously tonight we're going a bit earlier, but it'd be great. We've got all the season 3 action coming up. Obviously you can check out all of the previous videos from last season and the driver reveal that was last Tuesday, Tom? It was, wasn't it? Yeah, so there's plenty of stuff on there to watch, but it will be great to, try and branch this baby out, as it were.
There's a shameless plug there, Aaron. I like it. Right, so we've started to see, obviously, the remaining drivers that haven't set laps. Obviously, we've got Don Walsh, which I believe is the current MRS champion, who's just set a 1:16.4, so overtaking Rockstar only by a couple of hundredths of a second. Rockstar must be feeling quite confident as well with that lap, because he is also retired from the session along with Granty Boy. So looking pretty good if you're those top 3 drivers. We've got NUFC fan Liam, who was the SlyDog Racing League driver, who we said was yet to set a lap. He's now back out on a flyer, so we'll keep on board with him because he's currently rooted to the bottom of the table at the moment. But we know that he has more pace than is currently being displayed in this session. So let's see if he can pull it out the bag here and start climbing that ladder to safety. And Seb Bauer coming in there with Zedmanskazja is Torpedo Jack. Thanks, Seb. Because I don't know how I would have gone a whole session pronouncing his name as Mazda and not knowing what it actually meant.
The best thing is, I had a thought about that. I did have a think about that Zemanskaya. I was going to have a guess at Torpedo Jack, if I'm honest, Tom.
Yeah, it's just rational. I mean, it's the next closest thing to Mazda would have been Torpedo Jack. So fantastic work. Torpedo Jack, he's not even in the session anymore, so I don't know why I'm saying the name, but no, that's brilliant. At least we know for the race now, so it's Torpedo Jack instead of Mazda. NUFC fan Liam across the line then puts himself 10th with a 117 dead, so again, I should think that it's going to leave us with a top 10 here. It's going to kick out 4 drivers, so maybe he's safe at the moment, who knows, not actually too sure. 2 minutes left in the session here, so we're going to see those drivers towards the back starting to panic a little bit maybe and get out there and try and set some quick laps. One of the early runners, Jana van der Briel, who we thought would set a good lap there, needing to put some work in here to get out of this session, and Butters as well for the SlyDog Racing League.
And he's seemingly switching over to the softs in pit lane, so obviously he knows he's got to try and find that pace from somewhere. He's going to try and head out there on those softs and see if he can get himself cemented into the top 10 there.
Just looking on the detail screen, obviously you can see there's a couple of drivers that are looking in trouble but aren't actually opting for the softs yet. They're feeling like they can try and get the job done on the mediums. One of those is Butters, so Butters is just going out on his flying lap here, and it's going to be the last flying lap he's going to be able to get in on the medium tyre, so he's hoping to get through still this session on the mediums. Maybe it would have been wise to chuck on the softs there just to guarantee yourself a place in that top 10 and, compromising your strategy a little bit, but I still think you could do some bits here on the softs early on. I don't think it's going to do too much to compromise yourself. We've got Albert as well, who's still on the mediums, looking to go a bit quicker here, get himself clear of that elimination zone. Thomas W obviously not feeling 100% safe in the time that he's got currently, so he's out on a flyer on the softs to try and get himself up the table. And we've got Wheeler as well, who's sticking out on 2 lap old mediums, so not even fresh mediums, trying to get himself out of those relegation zone. So Albert cements his place into Q3 there with a second best time of 1:16.3. That's what we like to see from the reigning Constructors Championships champions, even from the SlyDog Racing League.
Good session 2 here. You'd like to think that they're a lot of those guys in the 1:16s are safe in the sort of the 1:16.6 positions. 1:16.7s are relatively safe. So the session has now come to an end, though.
It's come to an end, so we're going to have to keep an eye on the guys that are making their way around the track at the moment. So Landed Cam's gone straight into the pits. He's not going to better his time at the moment. We've got Jana van der Briel, who's also out on the softs, looking to get himself out of this Q2 session. So we'll keep an eye on his lap as he makes his way down that second DRS zone in Sector 2, coming up to that tight hairpin. Got to keep it all together here. Actually sets a purple Sector 2 there, so cracking lap so far. I think he's probably going to be safe here and going on the softs. It's a bit of a compromise for the race strategy, but it looks like it's the right decision if you do want to get yourself a top 10 place on the grid. And this could be a bit of a disaster for SlyDog Racing League here if he does make it through, because that could leave us losing 3 SlyDog Racing League drivers. We'll keep an eye on his time as he comes across the line. He does put himself up to 7th. And there we have it. We've got Leonard Cam, who's out for MRS. We've got Butters, I should say, is still on a lap. But
he did manage to get round there.
Yeah, he's not going to better his time, unfortunately. He's had a bit of an unfortunate one. I think I saw him on the gravel a bit earlier in that lap, earlier in Sector 1. So, right, that's it. We are done for Q2. So we'll wait for the final screen to tell us, obviously, who has not made it through. Because, again, we're not actually 100% sure. But I'm assuming that Monster is going to be making it through here as the final member of the top 10. and we're going to lose NUFC fan Liam, Wheeler and Butters. Wheeler, we should mention, obviously the most improved driver from the SlyDog Racing League, got that award last week as it was the final, on the driver reveal. So a shame to see him out the session. And NUFC fan Liam as well, third place driver in SlyDog Racing League, looks to be exiting this session a little bit prematurely, which is a massive shame.
Yeah, he's going to be one to watch in the race, I think. I think that's going to be a very, very interesting position for him. So we lose, obviously, like you said, Tom, we lose NUFC fan Liam, B. Wheeler, Butters and Lano Cam. On to session 3 then. And if you bear with me, I've just got to go get myself a beer.
Yeah, I've got to use the loo as well. Good shout.
Oh, that sounds like a cracking idea.
Be right back.
Right, so you join us now in Q3, as it were, as some of the drivers now head out onto the circuit down into turn 1. We currently have, just looking at it, Granty Boy has got himself out for an early lap. It looks like he wants to put a lap in before the track gets a bit busy, so he's out on those soft tyres looking to hopefully solidify a position on the grid, as it will all become very, very clear at the end of this session exactly how this race is going to be starting.
Yeah, there's going to be no holds barred here from these guys in this session. Now, this is all about the fight for pole, proving that dominance between the race drivers here. I mean, Granty Boy, you've got to say, looking like a strong shout compared to, just looking at the times we've seen already, especially from Q1 when everyone was trying to set their laps on softs. And we already know that he can, quite easily put in a time in the 1:14s. Going to be a lot of work to do for a lot of these drivers out here. But what we really want to see is a strong performance from the remaining SlyDog Racing League drivers. Can we get a double front row lockout? First and second row lockout. That would be amazing. Bit much to ask for.
You love to see it. So Tom, we haven't touched this yet. We've had 2 qualifying sessions and we haven't touched on this. What are you drinking tonight?
Tonight, Matthew, we're going for Magners. I'll tell you for why. It's all I've got left in the fridge.
Oh, shopping trip required.
Yeah. I was thinking about getting some on the way home, maybe even browsing the craft beer section at my local supermarché.
Yeah, that was something that you quite enjoyed last week, wasn't it? You had the old wheat beer.
I don't know if that'd be calling that craft beer. That was 99p beer from Lidl's. But
there was something crafty about it.
something of classier effect than a Magners. But I can't moan. It was sitting there at the back of the fridge. It's nice and cold. It's going to do the job for me.
Yeah, I mean that's a classic chat, really. Classic chat.
Classic chat. Right, we've got Granty Boy, who's going to be setting the first time in this session. So we'll keep an eye on him as he heads across the line here. Let's see what benchmark he's going to set for these drivers. Don't think we'll see him retiring early from this session. He sets a 1:14.8 straight off the bat, so fantastic lap there. Again, be interesting to see when these guys start rolling across the line, if there is anyone that can match Granty Boy for his pace. So we're starting to see a couple of the MRS drivers head round to the final sector here. We'll see what times they can put in. So we've got Jana van der Briel, we're riding on board with at the moment. Just love saying that name.
That's a great
will
name.
He get? Will he get anywhere near? So Joseph
Set
Morales a
1:15.8.
1:15, Thomas W a 1:16.3, Jana van der Briel sets us a 1:16.6. So at the moment, out of the 4 drivers that cross the line, it's advantage SlyDog Racing League, but there is still plenty to be decided in this session. Mogi puts in a 1:16.1. Fantastic work there from the SRL drivers. Albert is the only one that hasn't set a lap yet, but he's on the out lap currently, so we'll be eagerly awaiting what Albert can do here. But at the moment, we're locking out the top positions, which is looking good. We've got Monster, who is going to be next across the line. Mogi, a fan favourite indeed. Monster's going to cross the line here with a 1:16.2, so still maintaining the top 3 positions. But I feel like he maybe had a little slip up on that last turn when we joined him there. Maybe it's because I said his name, Monster. No, he's okay, he's fine. Don Walsh, the MRS champion, I think he's on a flyer at the moment, but as you can see from the track map, that's an invalidated lap, so he's going to head straight back into the pits. Did he just put it into a wall in the pits? I think I missed that. I think he got away with that, because I quickly turned off of him just before he did that, but yeah. That's quite funny.
We'll ignore that ever happened, but either way, we've now got Jana van der Briel heading round. Oh, he's diving into the pits. I didn't know if he was...
yeah, he's on cooldown that, man. Come on, man. Keep it together.
I didn't know, because if it was me, I'd potentially think about running a second lap just to see what happens, but...
You're mad.
Q3, innit? Q3, anything goes.
Go big or go home. So, we're going to keep on board with SRL Albert, because he is the last remaining SlyDog Racing League driver. I know he has set a lap already. What am I talking about? Oh, it looks like he's on another flyer anyway, so we'll keep on board with him. See what he can put in it. No, he isn't. He's on a cooldown lap, I lied. Steph Willis looks to be the next driver who's going to be setting a flying lap. We'll keep on board with him. He's quality commentating here, guys. I don't know how we're not being snapped up by Sky.
We've learned that being a bit more relaxed about it is definitely the way forward.
Yeah, you've got your fancy graphics and your info screens and your things you can draw lines on and highlight cars, and you don't need that. All you need
I'm not going to be... Yeah, we don't want to be as bad as VAR.
No. I mean,
we just want to crack some beers, watch some racing, and have pure banter.
You look at the state of Jamie Redknapp and Roy Keane on Sunday, just before the Tottenham match. I mean, that's shambolic, man. You can't be having those arguments live on air. Sort it out like men.
Damn straight. Just like you sorted it out at work with Dumbo.
Yeah, you don't stand a chance, buddy.
You don't.
Although that indicator stalk, though, that's got me right good. That is.
Oh, that's the story of the day. You need to tell the viewers, these people that are watching.
We'll do it in the intermission, because there's more important things going on track at the moment, Alan. God damn it, be professional. Steph Willis going to set a time then. Let's see where he ends up. He's unfortunately going to be setting the slowest time so far. It's a 1:17.3, so a lot of work to be done there for the MRS driver. And we've got Rockstar as well, who looks to be like he's just on another, maybe an out lap. Maybe he wasn't feeling his lap, he's abandoned it. But he hasn't set a time yet. He's going rather slowly. Well. He's almost fresh off, so maybe he's going to abandon this altogether, get in the pits, sling a new set on. Yeah, he is. He wasn't feeling that lap, so that looks to be an abandoned lap there for Rockstar. And that literally puts everyone off the track at the moment with 5 minutes to go. So literally these guys are only going to get pretty much 2 runs here as they get ready to make the mad dash for pole. So as we look at the board at the moment, it's a pretty sight if you are a SlyDog Racing League driver, because we've got that double front row lockout that we wanted, Aaron.
Oh, exactly, yeah. I mean, if these guys hold those first 4 positions in the race, I don't want to, put this out there too soon, but that's 70 points.
That's it. Yeah. It's looking promising. If we can get our fastest drivers at the front, and they don't get any issues throughout the race, then you can't see why they can't dominate. But, there's a 50% race here. There's a lot that can go wrong in that time.
Like you say, yes, there's something that can go wrong in that time, but equally you've got a couple of drivers there in Don Walsh sitting in 10th and Rockstar, who are yet to set a lap, and we know how quick Rockstar can be, so I wouldn't rule them out just yet. So
no, but they are going to have the pressure on them, though. I mean, I know Rockstar and Don Walsh did both try to set laps. They both have to abandon for one reason or other. I think Don Walsh was invalidated and Rockstar just weren't feeling it for whatever reason. But yeah, they've got the pressure on them now. They're only going to get 1 lap in realistically by the time they've finished their out lap.
As that clock ticks down, You know, I think Albert is out on circuit now, just going to try and keep an eye on him because he's
He is, yeah. So
trying to solidify his position. I think this might, just be a bit exciting. Just to sort his line out. You just feel it, just feeling it.
oh no, he's going balls. He's going, balls to the wall here. You can see he's
Balls
just at a
to the
purple sector
wall,
1. So let's see if he can keep this going through the lap and maybe even trouble Granty Boy for pole. I know that's a big ask, but let's see if he can get anywhere near him. Got a lot of time to make up if he's going to do so. It's not likely. But let's see what can happen here. So as he heads down into that second DRS zone, we'll get a look at his time as he comes across the second timing point here. And he's currently a 10th up, so we're not talking about setting pole levels here, but he's improving on his time, which is important. And he's going to make it a tough task for anyone to upset that perfect double front row lockout that we've got going on at the moment. So come on, Albert, keep it together. You can do it, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we were very impressed for the past couple of weeks with Joseph Mrados, who's sitting in second place.
Boom,
and he does.
Second place from Albert. 1:15.6. Solid
former
lap
Racing
there.
Point boys put their pink weapons on the front row so far. So 2 minutes left in the session. And I haven't actually asked you yet. We discussed the livery of MRS. What do you think about the SRL livery?
It's like if Barney was a goth.
Touche.
No, it's not bad. I'm not going to knock our own livery. I do like the colours. I mean, hot pink and black, you can't really go wrong. But I'm feeling some goth Barney vibes.
Yeah, I'm digging that. I mean, we're now down to 1 minute 37 in the session, and you look how many of these boys are out on their outlap now. Grant is even got out for another lap as well. So
this is the mad dash here for pole. Obviously, Grant doesn't feel quite safe. I think he should do. He's still a good, almost 8/10 quicker than anyone around him, and he's got a good sort of second and a half over any of the MRS guys. Jana Vanderbril though just setting a purple sector 2 there on his lap. So we'll keep an eye on him as he makes his way around sector 3 to see if he can disrupt the first to fourth party that we've got going on for SlyDog Racing League. So SlyDog Racing League drivers making sure they get out of the way, not to disrupt anything. We don't want to see any dodgy play here from anyone. Save that for the race. Jana Vanderbilt invalidates his lap time through no fault of anyone but himself, unfortunately, there. And he did go a little bit quicker, but he wouldn't have troubled the guys in the top 4 anyways with a 1:16.4. So we'll keep an eye on his teammates as they might start making their way around. We've got Rockstar, who's finally out on his first flying lap. Second attempt at a flying lap, I should say, of this session.
For him now, I think.
Big pressure.
Do you think him and Dom have both potentially left it a bit late to get these laps in there?
Well, the pressure's going to come down on them pretty quick, Aaron, because there's not long left at all. We've got Steph Willis, who's also making his way round, trying to get himself into the mix here on the front 2 rows. Let's see where he will put himself as he comes across the line here with a fantastic third place. So work to do for Joseph Morales and Mogi to claw that perfect looking grid back. We will ride back on board with Rockstar, who's coming round sector 3 at the moment. We'll see if he can put his better time in at the moment. Mogi puts himself second, so come on, Joseph Morales, we just need you to complete the job here. But I've just seen he's gone a 10th slower than his current lap time, so it looks like this might be disrupting the party a little bit, but still a fantastic showing from the SlyDog Racing League drivers to lock out the front row there. Obviously, we've still got Rockstar to come across the line, who we know is quick. Rockstar has come across the line, and he said a 1:16 dead. And we've got Dom Walsh, the current MRS champion, so it all lies with Dom. Can he disrupt the first 3 positions and put himself in prime position to challenge for the race victory here? And most importantly, hear that victory song.
Oh,
so come
haven't had any
across the
comments
line
in the chat about the victory song
Let's
yet.
see how close it was. 1:15.6. So it's going to be a front row battle between the 2 champions of both leagues. So Granty Boy and Dom Walsh showing their might as champions of their respective leagues. Obviously, Granty Boy is still with a good 8/10 of a second advantage over his nearest competitor there. But fantastic to see a mixed-up grid, really. I mean, as disappointing as I sound, because we don't have the perfect grid anymore, it is mixed up, and that's going to make an interesting race.
That's what we're going to need. it's looking very, very mixed up. But looking at it from the moment, I mean, these 10 positions you see on the screen now are going to be the 10 that contain the points. So that's where everyone's going to want to get, just try and get into the points. But what a race it's going to be with Dom and Granny both on the front row of the grid there. So it's going to be a good battle to watch that, I think. I mean, what are your predictions for that one there, Tom?
I think Granny was going to have it. I mean, we've seen that the pace advantage has been showing all season long in the SlyDog races, and then that's transpired fairly straightforwardly to tonight's racing so far. So I think he's going to have it in the long run. But in this case, it doesn't really matter who wins, who comes in first place. You need your teammates backing you up to get the job done in this type of race. So
exactly, I think that's where the pressure's going to lie off the start line for him. In the sense that he's not going to be he's not going to have his teammates lined up alongside him. So could that if it were me, it would potentially put me, get me unnerved a little bit, that last lap, and you just see a spurt of pace come from Don Walsh. So, I'll be getting you thinking, what's this guy about?
Absolutely. So we kind of again didn't see it coming because we were focusing on the SlyDog Racing League drivers, but no, fantastic to see someone getting up there and challenging the SlyDog Racing League champion. And it'd be an interesting rundown into turn one, to say the least. Hopefully, we don't see anything contentious. We don't want any drama here. We just want some nice, clean racing, guys. But good racing. Nothing boring either.
As we say, if there's gonna be something, just make it spectacular.
Make it spectacular. Yeah, none of this sort of clipped your wing a little bit. Sorry, mate. Spin off. Do a massive crash. Do a little flip or something.
Absolutely lick the stamp and send it.
Damn straight. Right. Are we getting a formation lap here as well? We are, yes, fantastic. So I was not ready for lights out if they weren't doing a formation lap. Right, so just to recap let's just go with the top 5 here. We won't go down the whole list. So we've got Granty Boy and Don Walsh on the front row. We've then got a second row lockout for SlyDog Racing League with Mogi and Albert. Then the same for the third row with Steph Willis and Thomas in the MRS teams. Butters and Landlord Cam are having a little bit of fun on the formation lap there, both disqualifying each other. Fantastic job, guys. Good start. So I'm a little bit surprised, obviously, to see NUFC fan Liam so far back as one of the third place drivers from SlyDog Racing League. But we've seen him climb the positions quite easily in 25% races, and before you know it, he's into the podium position. So more than capable of getting the job done here today to put himself up there. And the same for Wheeler as well. We regularly sometimes see him qualify a bit lower down, but then by the end of the race he's sitting there 5th, 4th, ready to score some important points in this race.
I mean, NUFC family, and we saw him have a great race the last round in Bahrain. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, if you chuck a safety car into the mix, that could really, really muddle things up. And you see a lot of just outside the top 10, 11th, 12th, 13th, all three of which occupied by SlyDog drivers. So it could be very interesting. There's not much ground to be made up to get those all important points. But Jana van der Briel looks quick. Rockstar we know is quick. Monster look quick as well. So it's going to be a good racing.
So just looking at the predicted pit stop strategy, if you're on the mediums, the prediction is you're going to go for a one-stop and you're going to go for hards. Or you can go for medium, soft, medium, I think that was there. Obviously, we've got 2 drivers that are starting on the softs. They're the 2 drivers that took the risk in Q2 just to make sure they got through. So that's Jana van der Briel and Thomas W. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get some early pace going on those softs, but how quickly will they need to come in and get on to the medium or the hard tyre. Maybe it's a soft medium, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit far to do soft medium. We'll see how that plays out for them.
It's an interesting one, as you say there, thinking about that tyre choice. If you're starting on the softs there, you've got the traffic in front of you.
Yeah.
They're going to be going off a lot quicker, so there you've got Liam lurking behind. So here we go then, Tom.
Here we go.
Get ready with them lights.
So, I'm getting ready with the lights, buddy. Right, so we are just waiting for the game to catch up and get everyone in the session. Come on. If it does this to us now, where it screws up and we have to invite everyone again, that's going to be well annoying, isn't it? Happened to me on the weekend actually. I was doing like a long qualifying session and 25% race. Got to the race and fucker just wouldn't start.
Just tits up from that point on.
Oh.
Gutted. That was probably just a marshal at the end of pit lane with a laser pen. Caught you out there. But we've had a comment on the chat.
You can only feel for so long. What's going on?
We've had John Walls. This should be pay-per-view. Rather watch this than a Conor McGregor fight. Let's go, Granty Boy, and all of the SlyDog team. Some good support there.
John Walls, by watching this, you're agreeing to pay £20.
Exactly. It's a verbal agreement.
Verbal agreement. You should have read the small print.
And following this will be...
Go on.
Yeah, will be Tom's fight with an indicator stalk, as we'll hear more about later on. That's worth a pay-per-view as well, to be fair.
Just the story itself, in all honesty, is at least worth a fiver. Right, well, I mean, not much is happening at the moment. I mean, if you like looking at cars stationary on a grid, this is the place to be. You can't 100%. Get this shit anywhere else. Let's take a moment to admire the Spanish fans here as well. They're going absolutely mad for these drivers doing nothing. I can see flags waving.
They don't stop, do they? Yeah,
they're jumping up and down. Like nothing's happening, guys.